Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do, this is how I fed last year. I had built this little contraption, which is not really much of a contraption, it's just a box, and I would set this box on top of the top box and the inner cover, and the inner cover would be right here. And then I would just set a 4-pound bag of white granulated sugar just down on top of the inner cover, so the bees could come up through their little hole, you know, and get to the sugar. And it worked pretty well for me. A lot of the bees would get up in there, and by the time I got to the springtime, most of the sugar would be gone in the bag. They would just eat holes through it and eat it. But this year I'm gonna do something a little different. From what I understand, the bees really don't want to leave that warm huddle to go up through the inner cover. So I'm going to do the thing, I think it's like a camp method or something similar to that, where I can lay the sugar right on top of the frames, on top of a sheet of wax paper, and then lay the sugar, and then put the inner cover on top right here. But I really don't want it to be this thick, because it's just, that's a whole lot more for them to heat. So I'm going to dismantle my box from last year, and just basically going to cut it in half across here and get two things. And I'll show you that when I get done with this. So what I did is I stripped off this little extra thing. I put this on here last year because I didn't like having the side of the inner cover being subjected to rain and everything. But anyway, I've stripped that off, and now I've got this box ready to cut. So I don't do a whole lot of measurements. I'm gonna cut it right in half. Obviously, I'm gonna avoid my screws, so I'm gonna turn this into two different like feeder boxes, and I'll show you that when I get done with that. Okay, as you can see, I've got one of them cut down, and now I've got two different, I guess you'd call them feeder boxes, whatever you want to call them. But I'm a big fan of reusing and recycling. So since I wasn't going to use these that way anymore, I have decided to convert them over this way. I got about 2 or 3 more to cut, and then I'm heading down to the apiary to start putting sugar to them. So I'll pick back up on the video then and show you what I do. All right, so here's my goal today, to try to get my feeders put on these 7, and I will video doing one of them, and then I guess that'll be the end of the video. Hopefully it'll help somebody. So here's how I do, or at least this year, I usually do bagged sugar, but this year I'm doing something a little different. I saw it on YouTube somewhere. I basically just take dry sugar and put it in this pan, and just start mixing some cold water in it with it. And with a big spoon, I just kind of get all the sugar good and wet. I don't have measurements or anything like that, but I've basically filled this pan with it, and I pack it down, and after a day or so, it hardens up, and I've cut it into 4 slabs or 4 bricks. I'm gonna take those 4 bricks and put it on a piece of wax paper and get it in a hive, and I'll show you that in just a second. All right, I am gonna start this process of giving the girls a little smoke. Today is it's an overcast day, and most bees don't enjoy messing with overcast days, so I am going to give them that a little bit. I'll get this thing open and then show you what to do from there. All right, I've taken the top off. It's about 63 degrees, so I'm going to try to do this fairly fast. I've taken the top off, the inner cover off. I'm putting my little spacer thing that I built, set it down right there. I've got a piece of wax paper, make sure nobody's in my way, and I'm going to set that wax paper down right there, just kind of on top of them. Sorry, it's just me videoing. So I've got my wax paper down, leaving plenty of space around them. I've got this sugar right here that I've already cut up. I'm not going to video me open this up. I'll get right back to you. Okay, so this is what I've done. Now, this ain't much. This is my first go with this. Like I said, I used to just do a bag of 4-pound bag of sugar and set it in there, but I thought I'd make it a little bit easier on them this year. I've taken this and I've made the sugar bricks, and I've got it sitting right on top of some wax paper. They can easily get to it from either side. And then this way, with this right here on this, I can just put the inner cover right on top of that, and that way it's all inside the inner cover. They don't have to worry about leaving the warmth of their the inside to get to the top of the inner cover. Now it's just right here on top of them, so they can easily get to that sugar. And they're starting to move around a good bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back together, but this is how I'm gonna try to feed them. I'll check back in a couple of weeks and see how this looks. I did take some honey from them this year, but I did not take all their honey, so that's why I'm trying to help supplement to get them through. So anyway, there is the finished product. It's all combined, put back together. Their sugar is sitting right on top of their frames on the wax paper, so it's all inside the inner cover. They do not have to leave the warmth of their home. Their sugar bricks, and of course the honey in their comb is all inside that inner cover and the outer cover. I hope this works well. I'll check back with it a couple of weeks to see if they happen to be hitting at it, but I hope I left them enough honey either way. But there's nothing probably worse than to lose a hive by letting it starve out. But we'll see how this goes. I'm about to stick an entrance reducer in this one, and then this one, other than a couple of more OA treatments, it's ready for the winter. And let me say again, I'm not a professional, and there's so many other people that can do these things so much better than me and have better ideas than I do. This is just something that's worked for me, and hopefully this will continue to work, but this is a new thing for me. But if you've got something else that works better for you, please feel free to comment. I love to take advantage of other people's experience and their knowledge. I have no problem with admitting that I don't have the best ideas. So, but maybe this will help somebody. Hopefully it will. I appreciate you watching.